Okay, Malaysia now has refined this My Second Home program to where I think it's actually better than it was before they made that big change. And they're giving you actually three different choices to choose from. But let me just go over a couple of things with you before we start. The passport's a real good passport, as I mentioned to you before. And I actually went over the Nationality Act in a recent video dealing with Malaysia. And I'm just going to rehash that just real quick. And that is, in a nutshell, Malaysia does not allow dual citizenship. And this is probably the biggest disadvantage of the passport. But now what they're doing is they're actually allowing this My Second Home program on one of the options to lead to permanent residency, which in the future can lead to citizenship. But again, you're going to have to learn the Malay language. You're going to have to give up all your other passports. Now, the statistics that I read to you before was actually in the Nationality Act that we're talking about. One thing that is nice about this residency that leads up to a passport possibly is the fact that they actually give you the odds. Most of these countries don't do it. Like Panama does it. They lead you into thinking you can apply for the passport after 5 years. Malaysia went a step further and basically stated that there's less than a 1 out of 2 chance. If you learn the language, you're willing to give the passports up. Now, remember, you don't have to give up your passports until they give you conditional approval. And then you'll have to show them proof that you've given up the other passports to get the Malay passport. But again, even if you learn the language, you put in the years of residency, there's a chance, less than 1 out of 2 chance, then you're going to get the actual passport after you put in the time with the residency. Now, with this new program they've got with the My Second Home program, I think the odds will get better. Let me tell you why. Most of the people that apply for passports after many years, they don't have $1 million, okay? They just don't. I mean, that's your average person's not going to have that. That's going to be a requirement that you have on this. You're going to have to invest a lot to get that permanent residency, which can lead up to the passport, okay? So those odds could actually change from less than 1 out of 2 to probably maybe 2 out of 3. I mean, you won't know until the years go by and then you actually take a chance. But remember, you're taking a pretty big chance because you're going to have to put the years in and you're going to have to actually learn the Malay language. And if you already know it, then maybe it's not a big deal to you. There are a lot easier ways to go, quicker ways to go. They have real good visa-free travel. But this does have a lot of advantages. It's an English-speaking country, incredibly cheap place to live. I mean, one of the cheapest places I've ever eaten meals out. I mean, I've eaten meals out. Literally, it costs $3 US for seafood dinner. I mean, it's beyond cheap. I think it's cheaper than Thailand. But anyway, let me tell you how this program is going to work. And if you want to, take a chance, if you're thinking about getting the passport, but again, remember, you're going to have to give up your other passports to get this, okay? Now, this is Malaysia's new My Second Home program. And again, the permanent residency is now a lot better than it was, before because with the My Second Home, because you couldn't qualify before for the permanent residency. That was a totally different program altogether. Now they're going to let you actually blend this in and get permanent residency by participating in this. But again, you're going to have to put out a lot of money. Now, there's no more monthly income requirement, and there's several investment alternatives, which I'm going to go over with you here. The government is lowering the minimum age from 35 to 30 years old, and they're expanding the definition of dependents to include unmarried children up to 34 years old. And then they're also expanding the definition of dependents to include unmarried children up to 34 years old, parents and parents-in-law, and reducing minimum stay requirements to 60 cumulative days a year, down from 90 days. The minimum stay requirement can be shared between the main applicant, spouse, and dependents. I would think that would be a pretty big nightmare for the immigration department. You might have to turn those things in for them to check it over. Don't know how that's going to work yet. But now the government is set to release more conditions at a unspecified later date, detailing applications, when the applications will open, and then the minimum income requirements and the liquid asset requirements. Now, the new My Second Home program also allows a route to permanent residency. that was pretty much unattainable by foreigners and otherwise with the old My Second Home program. I think they found out this was a big draw, that they were losing a lot of people coming to Malaysia because that My Second Home program didn't allow you to qualify for citizenship somewhere down the road. Now, again, you still have to qualify for the permanent residency, and then once you get that, you can qualify for the citizenship down the road. The My Second Home by itself will not allow that. Now, unless you have a great skill and knowledge in certain fields, it's not easy to get the permanent residency in Malaysia. Now, the possibility, this is the way it was before, okay? You had to have really a special skill, whatever. Now they're pretty much, it looks like they're throwing that out the window if you're going to sink a lot of money in it, okay? Now, the possibility of getting permanent residency makes the program a lot more attractive for applicants that are seeking permanent residency in Malaysia. Now, the government of Malaysia wanted to remove the monthly income requirement and just having 3 programs called the Platinum, Gold, and Silver plans. Now, the Silver package is a fixed deposit of at least $500,000 ringgit, which is approximately 107,000 US dollars. And it's the only one that's actually more affordable than the original My Second Home program. The other ones are going to be higher, but at least they give you an option where it's cheaper than the one before they changed it. And they knocked out the income requirement. Now, the Gold package requires a deposit of a ringgit million, 2 million, and then that comes out to be roughly 427,000 US dollars. And the Platinum package requires a deposit of 5 million ringgit, which is approximately 1.07 million US dollars. Now, this is the only one that offers a route to permanent residency in Malaysia that can possibly get you citizenship. Now, remember, your chances, I think, will be better here because you're sinking in $1 million that you're investing. Now, the amount of investment of interest is all refundable to investors at the end of the visa validity period. Now, My Second Home holders have the right to withdraw up to 50% of their deposits within a year for investing in real estate, education, domestic travel, or health expenses. But remember, this program is not going to be a ball of wax. This is going to be a difficult program to obtain, and you're going to have to give up a lot because you're going to have to give up those other second passports. But I'll tell you, Malaysia does have a territorial tax system, which makes it really nice. You can literally live there and have a business outside the country and literally live there totally income tax free. If you want to know more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. If you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.